every young person that comes from a underprivileged background, that hasn't got maybe access or network to people to school them and educate them, I'm going to dedicate this podcast to them, because to some degrees I had a similar upbringing and came from a similar place, and I always think, what would I have done if I had just the information from young? I was fortunate because I asked a lot of questions, and that's where a lot of my quote-unquote success came from, asking questions. So I'm dedicating it to young people, so that to young people from that background, just because there's a lot you haven't been told, there's a lot of misinformation you're getting, there's a lot of bad role models which you have who are leading you down the wrong way. So this is dedicated to you guys. Hopefully you can take this information and it can help you in a way that can improve your life and show you that there is ways for you to succeed.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Against All Odds. My name is Daniel Coker, your regular host. And this week we have a very, very special guest who I've recently gotten to know. He's Mark Maciver, also known as SliderCuts. Yes. You can tell from his the logo on his shirt. So Mark is an entrepreneur, an author. He's actually written a book, which I bought a few weeks ago and took with me on my trip to the US. He's a businessman, a business coach, and a voice for the black community across the UK. He's often referred to as a celebrity barber, a description he doesn't allow to get to his head. And I won't even say who we met in his shop today, just for confidentiality reasons.
It's fine to say, it's fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so we just had Reggie Yates in the shop. And even though he's known as a barber for several high-profile entertainers and sports people across the globe, you're the only barber that I know who gets flown halfway across the world to go cut hair, come back. Anyway, Mark is very popular across social media. He has his own YouTube channel. I think about 40,000 subscribers.
30-something, close to 40.
Close to 40,000, okay. Yeah. And you've also got several thousand followers on Instagram and on TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're also the recipient of several industry awards, including the Black British Business Award and the nomination for the Evening Standard Business Award. And Mark is married with children. Our conversation today will focus largely on the mindset. And before we interview anyone on this podcast, I do a bit of research and try to find a general theme.
Yeah. And
what I found with your story is how you built a brand.
Yeah.
So a lot of our questions will be kind of focused around that.
Yeah.
Because you're not just a business owner, but you've managed to build a brand that has intrinsic value. And I'm just trying to understand, or just trying to get our viewers to see the importance of building a brand. And a lot of the stuff we're going to be talking about will also be taken from your book, which I thoroughly enjoyed. Okay. So you have a quote in your book which says, "Success does not come to those who only work when they feel like it." I mean, it's literally gone 7 a.m. and you're already at work. So tell us a bit about your journey and how you came to develop this solid work ethic that you live by.
Well, thank you for having me first.
Privilege.
The work ethic, I think, came from my mum. My mum worked hard, I always say this thing, children see, children do. And I think seeing my mum working hard, my mum never said, "I'm a hard worker." I've never once heard my mum ever in her life ever say, "I'm a hard worker, I'm a hard worker, you must work hard." She's never said those things, but I saw her working hard, working 2-3 jobs, going from one job to another, doing side hustles. I'm selling perfumes, I'm selling, fruit, doing Ava, I'm selling, whatever it is, you're working, studying, then you're working, then you're caring after people, then you're doing catering and just like all of these different things, right?
Yeah.
And some of these things my mom got us as the children involved, like when she used to sell plantain chips, and
Your mom's actually Nigerian, is it?
yeah.
Okay.
You know, or
so all the chin-chins, the pop-pops.
all the pop-pop. So I always do all of that, you know, and we used to be like in the kitchen. So she would cook the chin-chin or the plantain chips.
Yeah.
And we'd be in the kitchen and we'd literally have to take them out of the bowl and then we'd have to put them into the bags, you know, seal the bags. We had a sealer. She had the things printed. We had to stick the labels onto them. Then we had to deliver them to the shops that she was selling them to.
Oh,
so even being involved in some of it as well, I think subconsciously I took on this idea of working hard. So when I look at my work ethic now, obviously I've had to also make a decision, you know, to work hard. But I think it came from what I saw growing up.
I also noticed. I mean, we came a bit early for this interview, and I saw you cutting Reggie's hair. And one thing I noticed, you're very meticulous. You take your time. You don't rush. You know. What can you tell our viewers about why it's important to pay attention to detail and to be meticulous?
I think the importance of paying attention to the details, being meticulous, is about serving the client correctly. Ultimately, that's all it is. You know, I'm a servant and I'm serving someone. So how do I properly serve that person? What does that person want? I think sometimes we get caught up in doing everything else but the core of what you're supposed to be doing. So that I'm going to market myself correctly. You know, I'm going to put out this Instagram post. I'm going to, you know, give this person the best service and talk to them and do this and comfort them and all these things there, which are all good and all things you're supposed to do. But I always say, you know, especially make sure the core is taken care of. And the core of what I do is I cut hair. So I can promote myself well, I can do talks, I can write a book, I can do all these things there, and it's great. But if my haircuts are not good, then there's an issue, because that's the core of my product. You know, everything I'm doing is from that.
The core of your brand as well.
The core of my brand is good haircuts, you know. So I always want to make sure that people are getting a great service, but it's cool. I want to make sure you get a good haircut. So, you know, I take my time. I make sure, you know, that you leave here looking correct. And if I'm ever at fault where, you know, someone might have a complaint or, you know, it is up to standard, I hold my hands up, I apologize, you know, and I rectify it.
Okay. There's actually a quote in your book from Reggie. That's the next thing I'm going to move on. It says, the way you do something is the way you do everything. Your mindset should apply to every aspect of your life and not only to when you're on. Your attitude towards business shouldn't be different from life. What are the different types of mindsets you've come across in your experience, and how critical do you think having the right mindset is for the success of any entrepreneurial venture or career progression?
Mindset is the start. You know, you need to have the correct mindset. Many people are destined to fail because their mindset's all wrong. You know, many people don't understand that your mindset will dictate how you respond to a situation. So if you've got a negative mindset in the sense of you always believe things are going to go wrong, or you have a mindset where it's like, I can't do this, I can't do that. If this happens, you know, it's just kind of like, well, you know, as soon as there's a hurdle, it's like, oh, I can't jump that. You're not even going to try and see if you can jump it. You're not going to try and see if there's another option so you can, maybe I can go around the hurdle. Maybe I can put my hands on top of the hurdle and jump in that way. So I can't leap over it, you know, clean like these other people. But that doesn't mean you can't get over it. It means that your route might be different. It might be longer, but either way, you can still get over it. Put, you know, you can, you know, like your hand jump. Put your hands on the hurdle, jump over it. Maybe that's the way you have to go over it, right? Maybe you need to climb over it. But my point is,
or go under it.
Yeah, go under it. You know, but the whole point is you need to get past that hurdle, right? But in life, people have mindsets where it's like, as soon as I get to something like that, I can't do it. Turn around, I'm gone. And when you have that type of mindset, the reason why I'm saying you're kind of like setting yourself up to fail is because in all aspects of life, business, family, whatever it is, you're going to come across hurdles. So it's having a good mindset isn't just for business, it's for life. So what do you do when you come across those hurdles? Do you stop and say, I can't do it and walk away? Or do you say, okay, maybe I can't leap this hurdle clean, but what are the other options? what can I do? How do I get past it? And a good mindset is someone who thinks about what are the other options, thinks about every option they have, you know, to get past it. And if they can't get past it, then fine. They did everything they could to get past it. But there's so much people who didn't even try, who would have got past that hurdle and seen success if they just kept moving. So that's why I'm like, mindset plays such a part, because when I was building my brand, building my business, there were so many hurdles. You know, so it,
I'm reading about it.
and I don't even talk about it in fullness in the book, because it'd have been a whole book by itself. You know, but it's just important. Your mindset just, you know, will help you to keep going and help you to get past things.
If you're enjoying this episode, I'd like you to hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, and also like, share, and comment. Now let's get back to this episode. I read you wrote somewhere about just when you were about to open the shop, like you had the builders in. And in the morning you're supposed to open it, so you opened the doors and you had some mice or something. They had left marks all over the concrete.
The day before, because the paint was drying, but then we were seeing them rat footprints. And I was like, oh, goodness me.
What a time for this to happen.
You know, so then it's like, I had to get past that. Then it's like, okay, we need to seal up this area. Where's it coming from? We have to get rat people in. Then it's like, oh, it's going to cost you £1,000 because it's to do with the drains. They're coming through the drains. You have to put some some vent thing in there. And it's just like, oh, I haven't got any money. It's like, but it's like, well, I just have to make it happen. So I have to find a way. You know, I just have to find a way.
You have to make a way.
Yeah.
I like that. You have to make a way. You've also spoken extensively about the lack of knowledge as being a hindering factor to success in the BAME community, the Black, Asian, and minority ethnic community. What can you say to our viewers about people taking time to gain experience in whatever vocation they choose before seeking to either progress or venture out on their own? Because I know you perfected your craft, and you started cutting your brother's hair or something at 13 or 14 or something like that, because you couldn't afford to go to a barber, you said. And it was really, really humbling when I read that. You know, but then you worked elsewhere for like a good 10, 15 years probably.
About 15 years,
15 years. See, I've done my research.
15, 16 years,
Yeah. You know, perfecting your craft and seeing you work today. We only met for the first time today, but I've seen you work, and I can tell that you know what you're doing. You know, but some people have this entitlement mentality, and they don't take the time to learn what they're doing. I mean, we started this podcast earlier on this year. I'm a chartered accountant. I work in the city. You know, this is not my gig, right? This is something that I'm not a trained media person like Reggie or anyone like that. But I've had to learn, and I've had to learn pretty damn quickly. So I'm watching things on YouTube. I'm trying to see, you know, who's doing great, you know, and learn. But some people are impatient when it comes to the knowledge part of things. What can you tell our viewers about the importance of taking time to acquire knowledge?
I think it's one of the most important things for anybody to do. Don't believe that you know the industry from the outside. You only know something when you're in it. You only know something when you are delving into it. And what I've seen is a lot of people who want to jump into industries on the basis of, one, they just think they know it, or they feel they deserve to be in this industry because they've got money, you know, or they don't respect the industry they're going into because they don't believe that it requires research. So there's so much people, as example, who've opened up barbershops because to them it's a simple thing. And I understand it from the outside, it does seem very simple. Open up a space, fit it out. You know, you don't need a license to open up a barbershop either. So anybody, you can open up a barbershop. Yes, unregulated. So you can go open up a barbershop today. If you find a space and they're not even going to charge you for the lease. It's like, oh, I've got the space for free. They're giving me 3 months free as well, so I can fix up the place. I've got a builder. You know, I've put some mirrors in here, some chairs in here. I've got a barbershop. So then, like, people don't do any research into this market, into this industry, because they're like, well, I can just open it up. But then we look at it look at the high street. What's one of the businesses that is closing down the fastest? Is barbershops. And that says something. That just because you can open it, just because you haven't got anything stopping you, no limitations stopping you from opening it.
No barriers to entry.
No barriers to entry. Yeah, definitely. Doesn't mean that you should just open it. So when people always ask me advice, I'm always like, study the industry, work in the industry, shadow someone in the industry.
That's very important.
You know, don't just go into it just because you have money. Because I've spoken to so many people who have got some money. They're like, oh, I've saved up this much money, or, you know, I've got this, I've got that, you know, I've got £50,000. So, you know, I'm going to open up a shop. You know, I'm going to open up a car rental company. I'm going to open up this. I'm going to open up that. And I'm just like, well, if money's not the issue right now for you, then why don't you go work for someone? And then what it is pride and ego. I don't want to work for someone. Why not? I'm not doing that stuff. I'm not working for someone. And I'm like, well, you're entering into an industry you have no clue about. But then they say, and this is what's funny, like I'm thinking about direct conversations I've had with people. I've been renting cars for ages, so I know how it works.
Really?
So people think, it's like, you know, so you think because you've been eating food for ages, you know how to run a restaurant, or you know how to cook because you've been eating food. You think because you've been getting your hair cut, you know how to run a barbershop. What would you say the same? It's because of industries they don't actually give enough respect to. Because no one would ever say that I go to the dentist every month, so I know how to be a dentist. No one will say that I speak to my accountant all the time, so I know how to be an accountant. I've had so many operations, I know how to be a surgeon.
Right.
But what it is the respect that people put on certain industries. So they feel like, oh, those things there, yeah, can't do that. But, you know, if it's a car rental company, if it's a restaurant, a takeaway, a barbershop, you know, a hair shop, you know, we don't need to do no research, I can do it. And then you look on the high street, and a lot of these businesses are closing down. And I'm not surprised as to why. They haven't researched the industry, they haven't gained any knowledge in the industry, they haven't worked in the industry, they've come from the outside, just believing that they can master this industry. And that's arrogance. Even if they're not trying to be arrogant, it's arrogance.
That's true, actually. And just following up on what you said, it's just this sort of attitude, this know-it-all attitude, you know, because, I mean, for instance, for yourself, you're actually running an enterprise. That's how I see you. You know, the barbering is the cornerstone of it. But then you're running an enterprise. You have a social media presence, you're authoring books, you have speaking engagements, you know, you're mentoring, you know, you're dealing with high value clients, you know, and also maintaining these high value clients and all that. It's a whole art in itself, you know, and you need knowledge to be able to sustain it, because otherwise it won't last. Okay. Now, building the SliderCuts brand, you know, what do you practically do to help retain clients? Because your business requires repeat business. You know, people need to keep coming, and thankfully, I mean, the hair will grow and people keep coming. You know, so it's like, what can you do to help to retain clients, especially your celebrity clients?
The key to retaining clients is serving them fully. Like, I always use this word servant, and I use it a lot, especially because people are uncomfortable with the term. But I'm saying to people that they need to get comfortable with the idea of being a servant when you are in a service industry. It's not a negative thing. You serve people. You know, the biggest people in this world, especially when it comes to entertainment, they are servants. They serve their audience. If
like
someone goes
Stormzy and all these people,
if they go on stage and they do a rubbish performance, the audience start pulling back from them.
They boo, they do this.
If their songs aren't good and people don't like the songs, they're not serving people correctly, then they don't make sales, they don't make money. So I just feel like everyone needs to get comfortable with the idea of just being a servant and how you're supposed to serve people correctly. So with me, the core is just making sure that I'm giving them good haircuts. That's the core. Like, you know, just always focusing on no matter what happens, no matter how friendly we become, you know, even if we feel like we're family right now, never losing the idea that I am serving you, right? And I'm here to serve you. And the core of this relationship is all based on you having a good haircut. What happens is people get comfortable in their relationships and get comfortable in the service which they're offering with the people, because it becomes so, you know, you saw me with Reggie today, we're just talking along.
I know. You're like brothers.
yeah. Banter.
Yeah.
Talking about.
It wasn't like a client.
Yeah.
It was more of a just friends.
Yeah, and that's exactly
what I saw.
Yeah, and that's exactly how it is.
With Stormzy, with all the other people.
With everybody, you know, that's what it is. But I always have to make sure that I remember that this friendship, if we're going to call it that, is based on a good haircut and a good service. So as long as I remain giving that person a good haircut and good service, then this friendship will blossom. But as soon as I slack in that area there, it doesn't matter how close we are, eventually that person will leave. So I need to make sure that the core of my business continues. Service, haircut. Haircut, service. You know,
I get it.
and what people forget is that thing there. So that's why even if a client leaves me, even if a client was to leave me, I always want to know. My hope is always that you didn't leave me because you didn't like the haircuts or the service I was given. Other reasons is fine. If you find someone more convenient, somewhere cheaper, whatever it is, I'm fine with that. I'm fine if you don't like the haircuts, to be honest. But I know that's something I need to look at, and it's something that I need to improve on. It hurts me if I hear that you left because you didn't like my service, or you didn't like my haircuts.
Okay.
Anything else is kind of like it's just business. My prices are too high. Okay, I understand that.
Yeah.
You know. I'm too far, you've moved, I understand that. Someone's more available, I understand that. These are good reasons for a client to leave you. But for me, I always want to make sure that it was never because of the haircut and service, because that burns my soul if I know that's the reason why.
Because of the kind of clientele that you also attract, is it safe to assume that you need to have a certain level of discretion? You know, because obviously these might be very private people, and this is like really early hours of the morning. You've already had your first client, who's Reggie, you know, and just kind of listening to some of the conversation and all that. You know, you're just talking very openly, very confidentially, and all that. Would you say that client discretion is of importance?
100%.
Yeah,
that's part of the service. Like I know some of the people who I cut and who I've cut in the past, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, they have appreciated the way I've dealt with them in a sense. So it goes as far as like, I might come to your house to cut your hair. I can't let anyone know where I'm going to. Even to the point where, like, I remember like a couple years ago, I won't say who it was, I was going to someone's house, and on the train on the way up there, some guys noticed me on the train. He goes, "Oh, you're the barber. I follow you on Instagram. You know, you do this, you do that." So I just started talking to him, right? And he's like, "Oh, you cut this person." And one of the people he mentioned, the main person he mentioned who I cut, I was going to cut that person at that very moment.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, "Oh, yeah." And I put this person on Instagram as well.
Okay.
So when I was getting off the train, they were getting off the same stop as me. So I was like, "Oh, they're gonna see this person on Instagram later on, right?
Right.
And they're gonna now have an idea of where they live." So when I was coming out the train station, I was like, okay, cool. What I now need to do is I need to go the wrong direction. And just go a whole different direction, right?
And circle.
And basically just circle, you know, just because I've got to make sure that I maintain, you know, confidentiality and just kind of like, you know, not bringing any attention to where this person lives or anything like that, you know? Especially when I know if I put them on Instagram, they're gonna be like, oh, I saw him there, and and he walked past there, and I saw him going to somewhere. So it's like, you know, so it's little things like that. Just having to think like that when I'm recording stuff. You know, even if I'm in someone's house, I make sure that nothing on display is seen.
Okay.
I pre-record the videos. I look at the videos to make sure there's nothing which gives anything of private nature. You know, and they even notice as well. And when they're like, "Oh, right, you do that," it's like they appreciate that, because I'm like, "Okay, cool. I'm going to film it." Then, you know, maybe on my way home on the train, or when I'm at home, I'll look at it and say, okay, cool. And it might be as small as, oh, okay,
a picture or something.
Or your sister walked by, or you know, your daughter walked by. I don't know, whoever it is, this and that. And maybe you don't want them in camera. So okay, cool. I'm gonna zoom in, put them out, or I'm gonna cut the scene there because of that. And they might not even care. But for me, it's just kind of like I need to make sure that I'm not exposing anything that maybe shouldn't be exposed. You know.
Understood.
Conversations, maybe there might be a conversation. There might be a conversation in the background. That, you know, I'm like, okay, they're talking about that. Okay, cool. Let me cut the sound on this clip.
Understood.
So I think people appreciate that. Even to the point the other day, I cut someone, he's like this celebrity, you know, I've cut him a few times now from America.
Yeah.
And it was kind of dark where I was cutting him. So I picked up my phone just to use the flashlight.
Okay.
But first of all, I picked up the phone and I showed him the screen. I said, look, just letting you know I'm putting on the flashlight so you don't think I'm recording you or anything like that. Right?
Okay.
And he stopped, he looked at me, he goes, I really appreciate that you took the time to stop and explain that to me first.
Wow. Okay.
Because I really appreciate that, man.
Okay.
Right? And it's those little things that these people
make all the difference.
That make a massive difference. And even after the haircut, he said to me, he just started telling me that, like, you know, like, you're really cool. Like, you would give a good haircut and just really cool. And he started talking about basically just the service and all that. He was just like, yeah, you're really cool, man. And I think it's those little things there. You know,
makes all the difference.
Make them feel more comfortable. Letting them know that you're not here to expose them. You know, I'm not here. You know,
to ride on their.
Yeah, you know. So I feel like it's important, and the customers appreciate that. You know, I've had it before where I remember one of the clients I used to cut. There was something he was talking about in the chair when I was cutting his hair, and I sent it to his PR manager and just said, just let you know he's talking about this in the chair. Is that cool if I put that out?
Oh.
And they were like, oh yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool.
Okay.
So it's all of that stuff there, you know. So it's just more than the haircut as well. Just more than, do you give a good haircut? It's everything else around it. So I think, you know, the celebrities and so on appreciate that.
Okay. Another thing that is in your book is a quote by Idris Elba. It says, know what your goal is, don't guess it. If you don't know what your goals are, you're never going to reach them.
Yeah.
Okay. In your book, Shaping Up Culture, you talk about 4 elements needed for success: time, effort, currency, and consistency.
Yeah.
Can you explain this in some more detail for the benefit of our viewers?
Okay, so yeah. This is a successful business, a successful relationship, even to some degree.
Yeah.
Even though a lot of people might say we don't need money, but money plays in a big part. You know, a lot of relationship problems can come down to finances as well.
Yeah.
But let's keep it as business anyway.
Okay.
A successful business, you need time. You cannot, you know, go into a business and say, I'm not going to give it any time, but I expect it to be successful and I expect it to work. You cannot have children and give them no time and say, I expect them just to flourish, but I have invested no time into them. So you just got to understand that anything that's going to be successful and bear good fruit is going to acquire time.
Okay.
You know, you're going to have to put in time. Effort. Effort is connected to time.
Okay.
Because you could be feeling like you're giving someone time, but no, all you're doing is spending time in and around the thing, but you're not actually giving it any effort.
Oh, okay.
You know, so you know when they say,
so it has to be intentional.
Yes. So you know that if you say, example, you know, I've got children, I could be around my children all day, but I put no effort into them.
Investing in a relationship.
So I've sat around with them and they watched TV the whole time, or they played in their room the whole time, but I was present in a sense. But there was no effort made. I'm not engaged in them. So when I say effort, it's about the engagement of what you're doing. So the engagement comes in talking to my children. How was your day? What are you doing? This and that. Let me read with you. Let's go through your spelling test. All right, let's go play some football. Let's wrestle. You know, let's play the game together.
Let's go for a walk. You're talking about walking with your daughter, actually.
Yeah. I was talking about it. Yeah, you know, let's go for a walk. You know, now it's kind of like actually the time and effort has been connected. So because a lot of people feel like they're given a lot of time, and they are given somewhat time, but there's no effort. So when we're talking about business, it's like you're spending a lot of time on your business, but you're doing nothing in that business. So it's like, what you've been doing this week in your business? Oh, I've just been, you know, I've kind of been, you know, I've been in the shop, you know, but okay, but doing what? You know, I was, you know, I started looking at some stuff, you know, then I was on YouTube, then I was on Instagram, you know, looking at this, looking at that. So it feels like you've been given some time to your business, but you actually haven't really you've just been in and around, and that's why I thought it was important to make people understand that a lot of people feel that they're given time, and they are somewhat given time to be in and around it, but they're not really engaging in what they're supposed to do, so they're not giving any effort. You know, currency, you need money, like as much, but let me take it back.
Take your time.
Currency. I use the term currency and not money intentionally. Because currency, and I talk about it in the book as well, because currency is not only money. Your currency can be exchanged.
Yeah.
You could say to someone, can you come and clean my windows and I'll give you a haircut?
Okay.
No money's been exchanged.
Okay.
So the currency you're using is your talent, your trade. I'm going to swap that. But in most circumstances, majority of the time, currency is money. But I just make sure I use currency because it covers a wider spectrum. Because there are times when you can actually use other forms of currencies to get there. And I didn't want to rule that out for people who might say, well, I've got no money. Well, even if you've got no money, you can offer your services. People have done it. You can go to a shop and say, you know what? I want to get this thing, but I haven't got any money. What about if I work for you for the next 6 months? Can I get this jacket?
Okay.
Or if I clean your car every week, after 4 months, can you give me, this thing that I need?
I really need, yeah.
So even if you haven't got any money, you can invest your time and your efforts in other ways to produce this currency to exchange with
for something else that you want. So just letting people know that it's not just money. You can't just don't be like, well, I haven't got no money. Yeah. There is other forms of currency as well. That's quite key.
That's what people do. Sometimes it's like, okay, people be like, okay, if you post me, someone might say, if you post me, I'll give you a free haircut.
Oh, okay.
I've heard, barbers say that to certain clients. They're just exchanging right now because it's like, okay, you post me, this person might have a high following. Yeah. So that works. That
has value in itself.
That has value in itself.
Intrinsic value, yeah.
And then you don't pay for the haircut. Yeah. I give you a haircut for free. Yeah. No money's been exchanged.
Okay.
That's the
But value has passed.
But value has passed,
I understand.
But money is needed anyway, generally, and running a business, because you're going to have to pay staff, you're going to have to pay people to do things. And then you can't, there's only so much of yourself you can give, where you can say to someone, okay, if you come and fix up the place, how many haircuts can you give a person? Or someone else comes and they want to work as a receptionist. What are you going to do for them? I say can't see, but generally I'm meaning money. Okay. You need money to keep it going. You need money to invest into it. That's the currency that majority of people live by.
Understand and as well,
is money. Okay. So you're going to need money. Investment, whether it's your money or someone else's money, you get a loan or investment, whatever it is, right? You're going to need money. Okay. So what have we gone through? We've gone through time, effort, currency, consistency. Consistency. If you do all of the first three things and you don't do them on a consistent basis, then all that happens is
everything falls apart.
Everything falls apart. And that's why in the book I use the analogy of the plants. Okay. That they need sunlight, they need oxygen, they need water, to grow. They need to be put in good soil as well. So if you've done all of these things there, sunlight, water, oxygen, and there's a good soil, and you did it for 1 month straight,
and then you stopped.
And then you stopped for 1 month, and then you came back and you did it for 1 week. Yeah. Then you stopped for 2 months. Yeah. But in every segment, when you were doing it, you were overdoing it. You were giving it more water than it needed, more sunlight than it needed, right? Would that plant survive? No. And that's exactly the same thing as business. Okay. You got to be consistent. It's even better off you giving it a little less than it needs on a consistent basis than giving it over what it needs and then stopping
and not being able to maintain it.
And not being able to maintain it. Yeah, it's better that if you need to eat, I don't know, let's just say in calories, if you need to eat to have a healthy diet, if you need to eat, let's just say 2,000 calories a day. Yeah. It would be better that you ate 1,000 calories a day consistently every day for the year than to eat 4,000 calories every day for a month than having no calories. Then eating nothing for the next month. Then coming back and then eating 10,000 calories a day for like 3 weeks, and then for the next 2 months having no calories. Or 10 to 20, 30 calories. And this is how business is with a lot of people. They don't realize that you're killing your business, right? Instead, consistency just means I'm gonna give on a consistent basis what I need to give to that business instead of I'm gonna overflood it. For a period of time and stop. Your business is likely to survive and succeed if you just continuously feed it bit by bit daily. Give it sunlight, give it oxygen, give it water, or in a real term, I'll give it some time today, some of my efforts, invest some currency, and I'm going to continuously do that, on a continuous basis, and have no gaps, in between them.
One thing you realize for some small business owners, they're not even very consistent with their timekeeping. It's like business opens at 9 o'clock and they get there at 10 o'clock. They have to go through somewhere, whatever it is. And that's just not good for business. You've got to be on time and stick to it, and always be on time so people can know that they can work with you. Okay. There's actually a scripture that you quote in the book as well. So whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for God, not for human bosses. Colossians 3:23. So you talk about encountering 3 different types of people. Can you share with our viewers what these 3 categories of people are, and which category is better suited for anyone seeking to succeed in life or business?
So the 3 type of people, it's good to say all these things then, because it's been a while since I've looked at my book.
I'm testing your knowledge.
It's like, did you really write the book?
Well, the thing is, I've seen you come on other podcasts, and people ask you about your story on your mum's store, which was, I think, got burnt and all that kind of stuff.
No, the house was burnt. But they stole all the supplies.
They stole all the supplies, and you were homeless for a while, and you kind of moved around. So I decided to go on a different tangent because that content is out there already. It's not adding any value. But I read the book, like I said, on my way to the US, and I enjoyed it so much, which is kind of why I'm staying in that space. I'm testing you.
It's been a while. So every time you brought it up, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I've read that chapter. But that's how you know I wrote it, because I'm like, oh yeah, it's all coming back to me. So the 3 types of people I encounter generally. The 3 types of people are someone that tries to get away with as much as possible or get paid the full amount. You're right. I just checked. We're trying, gets paid the full amount. So we all know people like this. Everybody knows someone who's always talking about how they're trying to scam something. They're trying to do as little as possible and get paid as much as possible. So it might be as simple as, like, when I was younger, I knew someone where when he used to work in Sainsbury's. And this is when you had to manually check in.
Clock in and
clock out. But he used to start late and get someone else in there to clock him in at 9 o'clock or whenever it was the time which he started. And he used to always do it, right? So he was like, I'm getting paid an extra hour. And sometimes, he will leave early, but I'm gonna clock him out at his right time, and do maybe some of his work. And basically the whole thing is with people just trying to do as little as possible and get paid the full amount. And that's one person's mindset generally. We all know people like that, in different circumstances and different spheres of life, where it's like, okay, you can see they're always trying to do that. You have a second person who they're kind of like by the book. I do exactly what I'm supposed to do. Nothing more, nothing less. Don't tell me anything. So if their boss came to them and said, hey, could you just, before you leave, just quickly file these papers? They're like, oh, that's going to take me past 6 o'clock, and 6 o'clock's in 2 minutes. And the boss might be, it's only going to take you 5 minutes. They're like, but that's going to take me to like 3 minutes past 6, and so I'll do some of the papers, but at 6 o'clock I need to leave. Whether or not they need to leave or not, they just like, at 6 o'clock I need to leave. And for them, they're like, they can't tell me anything. I've done exactly what I'm supposed to do. All the work I'm supposed to do when I'm there, I'm working, right? They're so strict, and we know a lot of people like this as well. People might not really notice them, but if they watch this, start looking around you, and you hear there's people out there which are so caught up on, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, nothing more, nothing less, and they're so prideful in the idea of like I can't get fired, or they can't tell me nothing because
they've got nothing on me.
They've got nothing on me, it's kind of like, and I'm not getting taken advantage of in any way, and I'm good. I do what I'm supposed to do, right? And then you have the third person who goes above and beyond. They do everything they're supposed to do and more.
Go the extra mile.
Just because. Right? So in the book I talk about, which person are you? Who do you think you are, right? I think I do anyway.
You do.
Okay. I wrote the book a long time ago, years ago, and I haven't read it recently, To be fair,
but the good thing is, it's inside you. Because like I said, you didn't even know I was going to be asking these questions. So it's kind of like, It must be inside because
Yeah.
for you to remember.
Yeah, to be honest, I've never actually read the book myself because I wrote the book, I wrote all the chapters. I never sat down and was like, okay, as I read, go through the book and read the whole book. Because I wrote the chapters, I know these chapters, this is what I've been talking about.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
So I've never sat down and just kind of like, just read it. So even when you're bringing it up to me, it's like, okay, yeah, you know, so this is what I know I should have said, or I would have said.
Yeah.
You know, and I ask people, you know, which person are you? And then in this whole story of these three different people, I ask people all the time, and I talk about it in the book, if you had to let go of someone or had to let go of a group of people in your business because you had to make cuts, you know, the business is struggling, it just happens, it's not, no one's,
happens,
it just happens. Who would you let go of? The first person? Definitely number one.
Yeah.
They're just trying to always make cuts, you know, you can see they're not working, so they're gone. They might be gone even if there's no struggles anyway. If you find out that they're making the, you know, they're not starting on time, they're gone anyway. But especially when you need to make cuts in the business, those people are gone. After that, who's the next set of people you're letting go of? Number two.
Inflexible people.
Yeah, number two.
Yeah.
And why are you letting go of number two? Because technically, they're doing everything they're supposed to do.
Yeah, but they're not flexible.
Yeah, they come on time. All the work they're supposed to do, they do. They leave on time. They're doing technically nothing wrong. So why let go of them? And what I tell people is, because why would you keep number two when you have number three who go above and beyond? They come a little bit earlier, they stay a little bit later. They always ask, is there anything more they can do? They do all 10 pieces of work they're supposed to do today, and then they come to you and say, oh, you know, I finished everything, is there anything more you want me to do? Right? Why would I let go of someone like that? They have made themselves super valuable. Right? Because they've made their position, a position that if they were to leave, you'd notice there's a dent in your business. You'd notice it because they've made it so valuable, because even though they're only supposed to do 10 things, the fact that they do 15 things every day now means that now if you leave, these 15 things don't get done every day. They've made themselves more valuable than everybody else. And I remember I did a talk about this, right? And I was talking about this I did online. I remember this woman responding, talking about what I'm preaching is toxic behavior. I'm like, why is it toxic behavior? They said because you're telling people that, you know, they're supposed to overwork hard and you know,
underpaid.
Yeah, be underpaid kind of thing, or not be paid for what they do. And also there's going to be a lot of bosses that take advantage of people and so on. And I understood where she was coming from, but what I was explaining to her and explaining to people is, I'm not telling people about how life should work. I'm just telling people how life works.
That's a difference.
There's a difference. I'm not saying that in society I believe that everybody should do what they're supposed to do and do more, and you know, this is what they're supposed to be doing. I'm saying no. In reality, this is what happens. And I just say, if you run a business, you have to let go of a bunch of people. Number two, forget number one, they deserve to go. Number two technically don't deserve to go on the basis of they're doing everything they're supposed to do. But would you keep number two over number three? No.
No, you wouldn't.
So this is what I'm talking about. We need to know the world we're going into. I'm trying to teach people, we need to know the world we are going into. Not the world we want to live in. There's difference. You might have ideologies of the world you want to live in, and you might be an activist to want to change that. That's fine. But I'm talking about the world we live in right now.
The real world.
Yeah. You got the world you want to live in, and there's the world we live in. So the world we live in right now is, if you have to make cuts, you keep the person that goes above and beyond. So if you want to make yourself valuable or make yourself an asset to a business, go above and beyond. Because you're going to be the people, when things go wrong, we have to keep you.
They'll keep you,
And that's the whole point about the free people. It's not telling people who you want to be, who you should. Well, actually, I am telling people to some degree who you should be. I'm just showing people that there's value in being number three.
No, I think you shouldn't be apologetic about it.
There's value in being number three, and I have been number three in my life. That's who I've been. Like people have told me I've been taken advantage of, which is true. I have been. Like even people have said to me things I've done in my life. They're like, "Why are you doing that?" Right? I created value. Like I remember in the shop I used to work in, right? Like a few years into working, I remember putting money into fixing up the place out of my own pocket. Friends of mine were saying, "Why are you doing that for?" And to be honest, at the time I was just doing it because I worked there, and I said, well, I work here, so there are things that need to be done, so I just feel like I should just do it.
Makes sense.
That was my reasoning. But what I was doing as well was I was creating value because I'm a worker. I'm a manager. I'm an owner. but I'm now creating value by the things I'm doing. And there's other things which I've done as well, which now put me in a position of like, oh, you're really valuable because you've gone above and beyond.
I understood.
You know, so I think it's important for me to understand that, and to, if you can, be that person because you create value.
Fantastic. You also have a quote here from a guy called William Adewasi. I don't really know him.
Okay, yeah, he owns the watch company, Vital Watches.
Oh, okay.
He's Ghanaian as well.
Oh, Ghanaian, okay.
Every watch that you buy from him, I'm gonna get this wrong.
Yeah.
A portion of it goes to something in Ghana.
Oh, right, okay.
I don't want to butcher it.
Right.
Something in Ghana, either
something sustainable.
It's something to do with like schooling. It's education.
Okay.
It's educating people and children in Ghana. A portion of it goes to education towards
Because William has a quote here, says in your book, says, I often feel that the greater the struggle, the greater the reward. I often see times when I hit roadblocks as the seasons I've learned most. These hurdles are stepping stones, not just obstacles. It's all about using those moments to become a better man. So my question to you is resilience a useful character trait to overcoming challenges on the way to the top of anything?
It's more than a useful character trait. It's the character trait you have to have. You know, so useful is kind of like, you know, it's helpful, but no, it's not helpful. It's necessity. It's a necessity. It's needed because in this journey of life, you need resilience just to get through life. Full stop. Just general life. Yeah. If you want to go into ownership and leadership and climbing this ladder of life, you know, especially in business, you need resilience. You know, and even when you get to the place where you might feel like, you know, I'm on top, I'm the boss, I'm the owner, I'm the leader. It even takes more resilience to even maintain it. You know, on a daily basis, I have to manage different people, different personalities. It takes resilience. You know, I have to deal with, you know, if you want to be online, I always tell people, if you want to be online, then expect people to talk about you and to say silly things about you and so on and so on and so on. It takes resilience. You know, even yesterday, there's a clip that went on to this blog site, this popular blog site, right, called Made You Think. Okay. Made You Think 101. There was a clip of me talking on another podcast. There was a clip of me talking on another podcast, right? And I was just talking about how much it cost me to open up this shop. Okay. I just said, you know, it cost me over £200,000 because it did. You know, some of the reasons, some of the things didn't need to cost me that much. You know, which I explained in there. I said, you know, I got bumped by the builders. You know, I had to get 3 sets of builders all together in to finish the project. You know, if I was doing things correctly in the first place, I wouldn't have had to pay 3 different builders. So, you know, and the other things, right? And there were so much people which were responding saying that this is just like, not so much people, but a few people, should I say, who responded saying things like, you know, he's lying. Really? Like, you know, why would it cost that much money? Or he's, you know, he's lying because, you know, where did he get this story from? And the other things people were saying, right? And it takes resilience because one, it's just like, I'm just there being like, well, what do I get out of line? Like, I'm telling you that it cost me this much money. And I even say in the clip, I borrowed all the money. So it's not like I'm being like, this person being like, yo, I had £200,000 just in my back pocket. And I just said, I'm just throwing it in the air, like, yeah, well, I'm, you know, I'm rich. No, I'm like, no, I borrowed money. You know,
you're very open about it, very authentic and very genuine.
Like I borrowed the money. You know, what do I get out of line from this, right? But then I was going back and forth with people, but not arguing with people. I always make sure I don't get into arguments with people. Like, so I'm just like, I explained to people in the comments what it was, right? One person was just kind of like, you're just chatting rubbish, this and that. And I said, look, if you actually want to know for real, I just said, if you genuinely want to know the breakdown of exactly how much it cost me and everything like that, then I'm willing to talk to you and I'll give it to you. If you just want to disbelieve me, then there's nothing you can do. Then it's fine. Then, you know, but it doesn't change what happened. But if you want to talk about it, fine, we'll talk. If not, it's fine. Have a blessed day. Thank you for your feedback and your opinion. I appreciate it. Leave it there, right? But also, you need to also know when to not engage in things. And when just to be like, choose your battles, right? Just know when it's okay, this is not going anywhere. If you actually want to have a conversation, then we'll have a conversation. But basically, my point is, it takes resilience because even to as little things as that, it takes resilience to taking the criticism online, taking criticism from people. Because also, everybody is an owner, but no one's an owner. Meaning in the sense of everybody's got advice on what you should do. Everyone tells you about how to run a business, but they've never run a business. You know, everyone tells you about how you're supposed to raise children, but they have no children. You know, you find that the biggest critics in life are the people who have not gone through or experienced the thing they're talking about.
Okay.
So you hear the people from the outside talking about, if I had children, I'd never let this happen. And we've all said it as well. This is what the funny thing is. We've all been in a situation where we've not experienced that. I would never let my child do that. What? If I want to have children, no, I'm not doing that. If I had a business, this is how I run it. This is how I do it. In everything. Like, I go church, right? I've been in a church and talking to people in the congregation, and people are like, oh, the pastor B should be doing this more, doing that more. How come they don't talk to the single women enough? How come they don't talk to the single parents enough? How come they're not doing any homeless outreach? How come they're not doing this? How come they're doing that? They're not talking about the Bible this enough. Whatever it is, right? All you have is critics, right? Because they're not being in a position of leadership, understanding that it is hard to serve everyone. You know, but you just find in every walk of life, people criticize and they've never been in a position. And what you find is people who are in positions of leadership and ownership and so on, you hear that they talk less, criticize less, empathize more, generally, right? And why? Because they just understand.
Understood.
They've been in it. So this journey takes resilience, because there's social resilience you need. There is physical resilience in hurdles of financial problems. Everything falling on your head. Setbacks. In the ownership right now, if this roof falls down right now, all that's going to happen is, especially if I'm not here, whoever's in here is just going to message me and say, hey Mark, the roof is caved in. They're going to do nothing. They're going to go about their life, and everything's on me now. I need to sort it. I might have no money.
But you got to find a way. I've
got to find the money, because they don't particularly care. All they want is the problem resolved. There's a leak in the back. They're just going to call me and say, there's a leak. They're not going to be like, okay, we're going to mend it or call someone or sort it out. No, they're just calling you. You sort it out. Right? It takes so much resilience, because there's physical labor. There's mental pressure where everything's always on you. You're always thinking about it. You got to think about everybody, every individual that works for you, right? Those individuals think about themselves and their families. But I have to think about my family, every one of those individuals, the business as a whole, the building, and so on and so on and so on. It just takes a lot. And that's why when I'm talking about business to people, I'm not selling them this dream of like, if you just try, you'll make it. You can just do it. And all these things there, right? Because it's like, I think it'd be better to talk to people about what actually goes into business, so you know what you're going into. Because what you find is, a lot of people get into business, right? And they start complaining about things which are just like, well, that's just business. I used this analogy years ago in some talk. I just thought about it on the spot as well, which I said, if you were walking down the street right now, and you walked across that greenery across the road, and someone slide tackled you, how would you feel? Just how would you feel? You're just walking, you walked across that greenery over there, I asked you the question, how would you feel? Someone just came up, just slide tackled you, randomly, just walking past, and someone just slide tackled you, right? How would you actually feel about that? What would you be your response? It's a question to you.
Oh, it's a question. I'll be well upset.
Why?
Because I'm not expecting that.
Cool. Now, if you understood that you were on a football pitch and you were in that game, and that same person slide tackled you, how would you feel?
Oh, it's part of the game.
Because you understand your game you're in. What I find is most people don't realize the game they're playing, so they complain about things that are natural to the game that they're in.
Okay.
They've done no research, so they have no understanding. You're on a football pitch. You're playing football. As soon as you understand I'm playing the game, when you get slide tackled, you have no issue with it. You're not appalled by it. We're in the game. But people get into industries and don't understand the industry which they're in. So when things like, setbacks happen, it's kind of like, I'm running a barber shop, and it's kind of like, they're complaining because, I don't know, let's say example, they're complaining because, there's no customers, right? And you might be like, okay, well, why are they complaining to me for? But the industry you're in, you need to provide the customers. Let's just say, as an example, you're a shop that provides the customers. You need to provide the customers. That's why they're complaining. Because, they're expecting that thing from you. Or kind of like, they're all complaining about different things, right? They want this person wants this, this person wants that, this person wants this. I can't serve all of them. What do they expect me to do? That's just leadership. Everybody's selfish. They're out for themselves. So everybody wants what's best for them.
Yeah.
That's just ownership. Don't you know that? Don't you know that as an owner, you've got to cater to all of those things there? Or this person's criticizing, saying that, oh, if they always talking about if they were to do it, they'll do this, they'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't you know? People criticize leaders. That's what they do.
That's what they do.
that's what that's what people do.
Yeah.
Like everybody criticizes whatever government leaders is in power.
Yeah, Rishi Sunak.
Doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
They are not exempt from criticism. Everybody criticizes. Whether it is Richie Sunak, so I pronounce his name incorrectly. Sunak.
Yeah.
Whether it is
Boris
Tony Blair
Johnson.
from back in the day, whether it is Boris Johnson, whether it's David Cameron, whoever it is, right?
Yeah.
Even if it's the party you voted for, people just complain. Why do they complain? Because as people, we are just selfish and we just want what is best for us. So if that person gives us everything that's good for us, we don't care about everybody else, right? Okay. So anybody in leadership can't complain about the criticism that comes with it. Not that you can't complain about it, but you just got to understand that it just comes with the territory. When you're on a football pitch, you might get slide tackled. But what you find is the people who understand the industries they're going into weather these storms a lot better because of understanding. Right. But as I said, a lot of people are entering onto the football pitch not understanding understanding the game and complaining about being barged and being side tackled and about a ball hitting their head and so on. And that's why I just feel like it's important for people just understand that, and when you understand that, it will make it easier to be resilient also in the industry you're going into because you're already pre-prepared to these things are going to happen. And also the reason why you need resilience as well is because there's going to be a lot of things which you're not prepared for and you don't understand and you don't know and you're just going to have to weather it anyway.
Yeah. That's very important. Do you think it's in the person's interest to get over the embarrassment of appearing to promote their product, brand, or service? Like, I know you built a brand, and I'm wearing your
I appreciate
your tag here, which I took with me to America, and everyone was like, "What's that?"
Oh, okay. That's good to know. Where do you get them from? When you bought the book?
I bought the book. Yeah.
Do you know what's funny?
Rihanna sent me that.
What's funny? When you had it on, I was like, right, you just literally went behind the desk and just picked up the thing. In my head, I was like, okay. I was like, maybe you done it because you want to have it on camera. But I was like, right, you really just went behind our. I was like, you really just went behind our desk and you picked up bands and put them on. I was like, whoa, that's a bit. I was a little bit. It's a little bit, over comfortable. I know. But I was like, maybe you did it for the benefit of the camera, but I was still a little bit like, whoa. So it's good that you trained it up.
Yeah. Oh, that's not a good first impression to me. That's kind of why you're looking at me that way. Your wife, I believe, Laquena, she says, my paintings carry messages. I love to work on massive public walls because they reach and are seen by so many people. Yeah. What benefits would you say would come to a person who's looking to advance their lives from networking and staying connected?
Yeah, you got to be in front of people. They say out of sight, out of mind. And it's so true. A lot of times, the reason why you've been picked or you haven't been picked is because you've been in someone's sight or you haven't been in someone's sight. Okay. How many times have you gone looking for someone, right? Yeah. A builder, a painter, electrician, a barber, whoever it is, right? And the person you picked was either someone just recommended, say, oh, this person's here, or just someone who you saw recently or someone you just remembered, right? But then weeks go on, and then you see someone and you're like, oh yeah, you're a barber, oh, you're a plumber, you're an electrician, why didn't I pick you? Yeah. Or why didn't I call you? Yeah. Just because you hadn't seen a person in a while. Yeah. They were just out of sight. Yeah. It wasn't because they weren't good enough.
I guess that's why you have billboards and on TV and they keep bombarding you with messages.
Yes, because they know, and also especially nowadays with social media and the volume of channels which we have, you're being bombarded with so much more advertisement that it's even quicker for you to forget. So they have to ramp it up a lot more. Be in your sight a lot more. No, I remember lockdown, right? In lockdown, when we came back from lockdown, the client base shot up. I don't know what the percentage was, but extremely. Extremely. Like when I came back, obviously every barbershop for the first 2 weeks was crazy busy because everybody was excited, right? First month, crazy busy. But the volume of new customers that we attained and we gained from lockdown, it was like, I noticed it and I started asking people and people saying, yeah, we saw you in lockdown, we saw you in lockdown. Because what happened was, during lockdown, every barber, they had no content, they had no haircuts. They stopped posting. But during lockdown period, I posted every single day bar, I think 3 days.
Oh.
And that was over an 8-month period of every lockdown, right?
Okay.
Out of those 8 months, only 3 days I didn't post something, right? And it's all like around Barber and things like that, right? So what happened was, I was in people's faces. So when people were itching to get haircuts, right? Because the competition had reduced and I had ramped up what I was doing as well.
Yeah, you're more visible.
I was more visible.
Okay.
So people started getting excited about when lockdown was going to be over. They were like, we're going to go to SliderCuts to get a haircut.
Right,
we're going to go to SliderCuts to get a haircut.
Right.
So what happened was I stayed in people's faces. So now it was like when people started thinking about I need to get a haircut, or people started hearing about other people needed haircuts, they started saying you need to go SliderCuts.
Right.
Why? Because I was in people's faces daily. So when people stopped, I ramped it up.
Yeah.
You know, I was, like my wife's billboards, basically what she's saying, like big murals, it's in people's faces. I'm now in your sight.
Right.
You know, and I noticed the increase in client base, for the shop. I've always been fully booked, so it's not like I can take on any more.
Okay.
But the shop increased, right? And this is the importance of being in people's sight, being in people's faces. If you're going to be running a business, you need to make sure you're in people's sight, because it's not always because they don't like you or because you're not good that they haven't chosen you. It's just because they just forgot about you, and we've all been there, So I don't want to be the person who's like, oh yeah, why didn't I think about you? So instead, no, as a business, I'll keep advertising, I'll keep flooding content out there. So when you think about a barber, who do you think of? Even people that don't get haircuts, when they think about barbers, they'll be like, oh, we think of SliderCuts.
Right.
Why is that? Because I keep appearing on their feed.
Yeah, understood. Yeah, you keep appearing on my feed every day. You're the only barber I know who's got an executive assistant. She's brilliant. Rihanna, I haven't met her though, but you have a right team. You seem to have a good team around you. How did you go about building that team? Are these people that you've met in the past, or the people who approached you, or?
No, I built a team from searching for a team. I remember about 2015, 2016, when I started saying, okay, do you know what? I feel like I need some help. Basically, I built a team from just knowing where my weaknesses were and where I needed help. I always talk about business, saying that business is based on honesty. You need to learn to be honest with yourself. Where are you strong? Where are you weak? Where do you need help? If you can figure out all those things there, then it'll be easier to hire people. Because if I know, as an example, if you can't read and write, then you need to hire someone who can read and write.
Complementary,
If you're a great, if you are strong at marketing, but you're bad at organization, then you need to find someone who can help organize your life. And help to organize your marketing. It's just about looking at where you're strong and be like, okay, cool. I always say this, your strengths are your sprinters. Because wherever you're strong at, they just sprint. Like you just notice that if you're strong at something, you just do it. So okay, now we know those things there. It's like, okay, where am I weak? Where am I not so good? Where am I not so strong? And that's where I started hiring. So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm not good with emails. This was my first thing. I just don't respond to emails. I find it long reading all the emails. So I said, I need to hire someone to help me to read my emails, respond to my emails. Also, another thing was sending invoices. I wouldn't send invoices. So I wouldn't get paid for things. And it's like, I'm doing a job, I've come and cut your hair, I haven't followed up with an invoice, right? So I started knowing that, okay, I'm weak at these things there. And what I think is important for people to understand as well is, don't get caught up with people saying, but you can do that. Why are you just not doing that, right? Because your weakness is your weakness, and technically they're right in some aspects. Obviously if you can't read, then you can't just read. You got to learn to read. But if it's like reading the email and you know how to read, you can read the email. You can respond to the email. You can send the invoice. Technically, yes, you can do all these things there. I've done all these things.
But they're distractions, and they take you away from your core. Your core business.
And the reality is, you can do these things, but you might not do these things. And this is where it comes about being honest about these things. Just be like, okay, am I going to do these things? It's a weakness of mine, so I'm going to hire in those areas. So I'm like, I need to hire an assistant to help me. That's where it started. I'm going to hire an assistant to help me. And then they can read all my emails. They can talk on the phone to me, do dictation and stuff like that. So I'm like, oh, this person emailed saying that they want a haircut. I'll be like, okay, just tell them to message me or whatever it is. I'll do it 8 o'clock, whenever, and she'll send it back. I can start looking at my weaknesses. Okay, invoices. Okay, great. Now she's sending, she sent all the invoices for me. Now I'm getting paid.
Right.
Now, even when it comes to following up with things in my personal life, it's like it might be booking things. I want to book a restaurant, but I always leave things last minute, and then it's booked up. Now it's like, okay, cool. I can hire my assistant. I can speak to my assistant.
Yeah.
Can you please book this restaurant, please?
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
can you book this restaurant now? And so on and so on.
Yeah.
So it's like hiring a team just starts from where are you weak?
Yeah.
Where do you need help? And that's where I started from. So it's like, okay, I put an advert out there. Guys, I'm looking for an assistant, looking for a PA.
Yeah.
Can anyone help me? This and that. Loads of people applied. And then what was funny was, what I did then was I hired someone to go through the interview process.
Okay.
Because I also acknowledge that I'm not great at interviewing people.
Oh, okay.
Because I connect with people easy, and if I have a first interview and I feel like I connect with this person, I'm just gonna go with that person.
Oh, right, okay. But you might not look at the full 360, yeah.
No, and I'm just looking at the connection, and we might connect, right? But that doesn't mean you're great for the job.
Right, understood.
Also, I feel sorry for people. So if you're telling me your story and I start feeling sorry for you, I could end up hiring you because I feel the job is good for you, but you're not actually good for the job.
Right.
I'm like, this will really help your life.
Okay.
So I started acknowledging those weaknesses in myself.
Yeah. And you brought in help.
So I said, okay, I brought in help. There's this lady who I know is really thorough, she's good. She went through the process. We put people through like 5 stages where it was like, okay, cool. Email thing first, then it was kind of like, do this task.
Yeah.
Then it was speaking to her on the phone.
Okay.
Then I think it was meeting up with her. And then after that, then it was like, whoever got through those stages there, then they met up with me.
Understood, okay.
Because
so
by this time,
filtered.
Yeah, so by this time it's kind of like, well, all these people are good now, so choose from these people here, whoever you connect with best, all good.
Okay.
But that's just me acknowledging my weaknesses as well.
Okay.
Understanding I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that, let me get someone else to do it instead, right?
Understood.
And then you build a team, then you just keep looking at the areas where you need help.
Okay.
And it's like, okay, cool. Oh, we're gonna open up a shop, I'm gonna need this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need someone else to help me. So basically who you be speaking to is actually my assistant.
Okay.
My executive assistant is Casey.
Oh, okay.
Rihanna is like my second assistant.
Okay.
So you've been dealing with her more so, right?
Yeah.
She's been doing a great job as you said.
Yeah.
Then as time goes on, it's like, okay, things are getting busier, and you need more. So it's like, okay, I need a second assistant. And not because the reason why I need a second assistant is because Casey works it's like a full-time job with part-time hours.
Oh, right.
So it's a part-time job, but it's kind of like throughout the whole day. But she's not working like 8 to 10 hours a day.
Okay.
She's working maybe 4 hours. In the day,
right.
On 5-6 days a week, right?
Yeah.
So then it's like, okay, I realize I'm getting busier.
Yeah.
Casey's not able to do full time because she's doing other things as well. So it's like, okay, cool. I need a second assistant to kind of fill in some of these gaps as well.
Understood.
So that people don't think, oh, he's that busy that he's got someone working, 2 people working 10 hours a day. It's like, no, not that.
It's important to clarify that.
not that. But then you just keep building and building. It's like wherever I see weaknesses, wherever I see I need help, I will hire in that area. And then suddenly you got this team where it's like, I've got about 25 people. Okay. People are like, where are these 25 people? It's like, okay, we've got the 11 barbers.
Yeah.
We've got 3 young guys, which we mentor them, they do like a running scheme where we kind of like mentor them and, just help them out, teach them life skills and different things, right? They come on Saturdays. I've got like the website person, does the websites, updates the websites, all the different things to do with website.
Right, okay.
I've got the PR team, which is about 3 people on that team. I guess about 3 people who I deal with.
Really?
On the team. We've got, I always forget people. Whenever I do this list, right, I always forget certain departments.
Yeah.
I've got like social media admin assistants. Because even like, I haven't got the time to go through all of my inbox messages.
Oh,
so I need
DMs and all.
DMs, but I want everyone to be responded to. So then it's like, okay, and a lot of the stuff in my DMs is all admin stuff as well.
Okay.
So it's always like, how do I book a haircut?
Okay.
It's like, oh, just go to the website, click book now.
Yeah.
Oh, I want, where do you buy your book from?
Okay.
What clippers are those that you use?
Okay.
Like a lot of the questions are these things there, and then there's also like, nice haircut. Oh, thank you. Or like, can you review my haircut?
Okay.
Then what happens is we filter them out. Then the assistants can go through all the ones which are just generic.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, this person wants you to review the haircut.
Okay.
Flag it, cool. Then I can go through the flag messages. I'll respond to that one myself. Okay, the haircut's good, this and that, so on and so on and so on and so on. But it's like, but I need help in those areas there as well,
Okay.
Responding to other things, then, there's a bunch of other people as well, right?
Yeah.
But you build a team based off knowing where your weaknesses are and where you need help.
Okay. Okay. One piece of advice the previous guests have touched upon is for people to always assume that someone's watching and to always aim to do whatever you're doing with a spirit of excellence, because you never know who's watching. Do you have anything to say about this?
Yeah, you're always in an interview.
Okay.
And as soon as you understand that, it might make life easier.
Okay.
And help you to be actually a better person. Okay. Because I always say this thing, the person you want to be when the right person is around, and when I say the right person, that means, you know, like we all have these people, like if your mom and dad are around, best behavior.
Yeah.
When your boss is around, best behavior. Yeah. When, you know, if you're doing criminal activity, when the police are around, best behavior. You know, if you know that there's this person which is going to hire you for a certain job, and you see them, they're around you right now, best behavior. Yeah. So when I say the right person is different to different people, but that right person. So I'm saying the person you want to be when the right person is around should be the person you become, period.
Okay.
And if you become that person, period, it'll make life a lot easier because you'll feel like you never missed out on opportunities because you worked on just being that person, because there's something about that person that you can obviously see that is beneficial to become when the right person's around. Okay. So you're like, oh, my boss is around, so suddenly I need to be talking correctly and giving great customer service. But then it's like, oh, well, maybe you should just be giving great customer service all the time. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, my parents are around, so now I'm speaking properly, I'm not swearing, I'm not saying this, I'm not saying that, you know, I'm tidying up my room, I'm doing this. And it's like, well, maybe you should always tidy up your room. Maybe you shouldn't be swearing, full stop. Yeah. You know, so just like when the right person's around, it's like actually think about who that person is and think about how do I work on becoming that person, so that when situations happen, like I'm at the bus stop, right? And an argument's about to kick off between me and this person about who's getting on the bus first, right? Yeah. If I knew that the person who's going to be interviewing me later on was standing next to me, I might just say, you know what, leave it. You get on the bus. Okay. Right? Okay. I'll walk on after you. Okay. But because I don't think that person's watching me, I'm like, what are you doing? You might pull the person down. You start arguing with the person, right? Yeah. Now they're watching you, you don't even know it. Yeah. And then you enter into the office and they're like, oh, in there, they're like, rah. You might not even realize that they were there. Yeah. Like, oh, that was that person that was on the bus that was shouting and cussing and swearing and, you know. Yeah. And already you've lost a job. You have, yeah. Because you were in an interview, even though you didn't know it. And that's why I say you're always in an interview. Okay. As long as someone can see you, they're interviewing you. Okay. Even if they don't know it or not. Okay. Because when that person who was hiring saw you, they didn't know who you were. Okay. They just saw two people arguing. Okay. So they weren't interviewing you consciously. Right. But as soon as you stepped into their office, that first encounter they had with you now became an interview. Understood. So that's why I say you're always in an interview. Yeah. So, you know, it's key to understand that. Okay. Mark, what motivates you? We're just wrapping up shortly, so what motivates you? What motivates me? I think what motivates me is knowing that I can. Okay. I think it's knowing that you can. It's a privilege and it's an honor. Like, what gets you out of bed in the morning? I mean, because you've been here since like 6 o'clock or something. It's a privilege and it's an honor. Like me and my children, especially every night before they go to bed, we pray, right? And most of our prayers is just thanking God. We just sit there and we just thank God for everything. We thank God for our health. We thank God that, you know, that we have food. Thank God we have shelter. We thank God, you know, I say to my boys, you know, it's an honor, it's a privilege, you know, like it's a blessing that you guys can run around. We go out, every time there's a set of stairs, I always say to them, should we take the lift or should we take the stairs? Right, they get into their head now, they say take the stairs. You know why they say take the stairs? Because they can. Because it's an honor and it's a privilege that we have the legs to be able to walk up the stairs. Okay. So now I said we're young, we're fit and we're healthy, so we should do that. Yeah. So now when I give them the option and say to them, oh, what do you want to do? Take the stairs or the lift? Especially my oldest son, he looks like, take the stairs. And I'm like, why should we take the stairs? Yeah. It's because, you know, we're young, we're fit and we're healthy. So we can, like it's a privilege. So I think what motivates me is understanding life, appreciating life and appreciating what we have, right? And not trying to squander that or not trying to take that for granted. Okay. You know, so even in the prayers every day, we're always like, you know, sorry God for when we take these things for granted. Okay. When we get upset because someone gave us a meal and suddenly it wasn't the nicest and we get upset and it's like, but we have food. Yeah. You know, I'm upset by that, right? But we have food. And some people don't have food, right? So I think what motivates me is just appreciation of life, you know, and what we have and how much God has blessed us, right? So it's like, I just need to appreciate that, you know, and I think that's motivating because when you think about everyone who hasn't got all these things that you're complaining about, you can start being like, oh, I'm complaining about this food not tasting nice. But when you think about someone who hasn't got food and is starving,
it makes you more grateful.
It makes you more grateful.
Understood.
So I think having a spirit of gratefulness helps you to keep going. You know, it's an honor. You know, I had to get up this morning to cut someone at 6 a.m. or 4:30 last week. Why am I complaining? Why am I complaining? It's a privilege, one, that I have a job. Two, that I can actually work a job where I can come in earlier and make more money. Why am I complaining? Don't feel sorry for me. It's a blessing.
Okay, what do you think about this podcast and what we're trying to do?
I think it's good. I think, you know, more people need to talk like this on podcasts, in real life. I think these conversations are amazing just because there is so much that people don't understand. And when I'm always talking about knowledge, and that's what my whole thing is. Look, I can't force you to do anything in life. I can give you the information. That's why I always say as well, I always make it clear. I am not a motivational speaker in the slightest. What I am is an informational speaker. I give you the information. The information might motivate you, but my intention is to give you the information to know what to do. What you do with it is your business, right? If the information motivates you, great. But ultimately, I would rather give you information than motivation. Motivation is like a pill.
It's temporary.
If you give someone a pill right now, a motivational pill, what will happen is they'll get up and they go to the gym and they want to go to the gym. They'll run around the gym doing a bunch of stuff. And they might not even know what they're doing, right? What I'd rather do is I'd rather give you information of how to go to the gym and how to train. Hopefully that motivates you to go to the gym. But I'd rather put you in a position when you go to the gym, you know what you're doing right now. So I think things like this is informing people. It's more than just I'm motivating people. No, I'm going to inform society and inform a group of people how to do it, how it's been done, what's required, what goes into it. So you can be informed. So then when you go to do these things yourself, in the audience, when you guys go to do these things yourself, you know what to do.
Thank you very, very much. And just before we go, if you've enjoyed this episode, I'd like you to do a couple of things. I'd like you to like this video. It's very important that you like this video. I'd also like you to share this video and also leave comments. You know, we keep saying that I keep getting comments on my WhatsApp, but I keep telling people to leave comments. And also I'd like you to subscribe. So Mark, thank you very much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
And have a blessed day.
Same to you.